Why don't we jump right into our headline topic today? The launch of Counter-Strike 2. On Wednesday, Valve released Counter-Strike 2 not as a dedicated game, but as an update to CSGO. CS2 already has over 1 million players. I believe they've gone well past 1 million concurrents, but many have criticized the move to replace CSGO rather than offer the game separately. One notable effect of replacing CSGO rather than launching as a new game is that Counter-Strike 2 has inherited all of CSGO's reviews and ratings. That means that it has an overall rating of 88% with 7.5 million reviews, despite the fact that of the about 3,500 reviews from launch day, only 59% are positive. The game is free to play, but is also at the top of Steam's top sellers list, possibly indicating that Valve is already making a ton of money through loot boxes, and players have likewise criticized the game's lack of features that were present on CSGO, like left-handed mode, many popular CSGO maps, and macOS support. Have you played yet?
I have.
I assumed you would have.
I'm gonna insert some stuff before I go. I like checking this. I've brought it up on stream before.
Well, can we give a high-level overview of the game first, and then can you do your whole thing that you do with Starfield and Baldur's Gate 3 and now Counter-Strike 2?
Yeah, it's going to be that again.
So it's Counter-Strike, right?
Yeah.
We've been through, how many major iterations would you say there have been of Counter-Strike? I think if you ask the hardcores, 1.6 was obviously hugely important.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really cared about Condition Zero. Source was sort of a mid.
Yeah, I think it
release.
was the 1.x.
Yep.
Source, Go, and now 2. I think those would be the important steps.
So Condition Zero, we're going to kind of ignore.
I don't think anyone cares.
Did anyone care about Source? Because from what I can recall, the esports scene was all CS 1.6.
A lot of it still stayed back, but people did care about Source. It wasn't Condition 0-2. People played Source for sure.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then CSGO has obviously been by far the biggest. I think
step after 1, I think.
I think if you would take the size of gaming as it was in, what would that be? The early 2000s when 1.6 was the ruler of the roost, right? Relative to the size of gaming as a market, it was probably as big or a bigger deal than CSGO was towards the end of its life. But given how much gaming as a whole has grown, I think it's hard to argue that CSGO is the biggest Counter-Strike.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
So with that in mind,
I would actually argue in that realm then that Go wasn't the biggest one. I'd say it was 1.6.
Sure.
1.6 dominated gaming.
That's what I mean. Relative to the size of gaming,
then
1.6 was
1.6 for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
1.6 monstrous, but in terms of just actual size, right? Not relative to how big gaming is now. I think it's pretty clear CSGO is the biggest Counter-Strike ever. So what is Counter-Strike 2? Well, we get the Source 2 engine, which is, the first major update to, it's been updated, but this is the first integer revision to Source since, Source launched with CS Source, did it not?
I think so.
Or was it Half-Life 2? What's the first game with the Source engine? Chat, you're going to have to help us out here.
Yeah.
Unless we beat you to it. First game with Source engine is... Oh, lordy, my... Counter-Strike Source. Yes, it was. Back in 2004. Luke, it's been 19 years since the Source engine launched.
Oh, God.
That is amazing. So with it comes...
Chat was saying Half-Life 2.
With it comes a lot of more modern features, right? Like one of the big things that Valve talked about was way better volumetric effects, for example.
Yeah.
But I've already seen criticism of those volumetric effects saying that they alter gameplay in a way that is not pleasing to some of the players. So
Interesting.
Can you tell me about what immediately jumped out of the screen at you as better and what immediately jumped out as worse? And I'm sure chat's going to get in on this as well.
This might be because I haven't played for a very long time, but the hitboxes felt different. For some reason, I felt like I had a significantly easier time than I normally do when I'm playing Counter-Strike picking heads.
Well, they've locked in tick rate, right? So it's consistent.
I wonder if it's something like that. I'm not sure what it was, but I could like think in my head, I'm just gonna, like at one point in time when I started kind of sniffing this out, I decided to only play with a deagle. Because I was like, let's see how well this goes. And I was just ripping heads off.
Right.
And I'm like, this isn't normal. Like, I am okay at Counter-Strike, but I'm not that great.
Can I propose an alternate theory? CS2 just launched. A whole bunch of
bad
people
players.
who haven't played in a long time or haven't played at all are sitting there being flopping fish in the barrel for you.
Maybe.
Bow,
Maybe
bow,
that's it.
Man, I'm good. Bow, bow, bow.
But
could be a little bit of that.
But yeah, it was interesting. I felt like something was going on there. Maybe it was that. I don't know what it was. I didn't look into it at all. I don't care. But I noticed that right away. I personally love the smokes. I know smokes are a huge part of gameplay. I know like the really good players will know very specific, like stand on this pixel, throw at that pixel, it lands on this exact spot to perfectly cover blah, 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 blah. It's always been a really big part of highly competitive gameplay.
Right.
But I never cared because I wasn't playing highly competitive.
So you were just throwing a smoke grenade.
Yeah, whatever. But now
hope for the best.
Now they're like fun, and you can do weird tactics with it because you can throw a smoke and then throw an HE like next to it, and it'll blow off like part of it, so you can see for a quick second. But you knew where you threw that HE, high explosive, whatever. So like you can be ready and aiming at the spot that you know is going to clear. Then it clears it and you can take out people through the smoke. Like I find the tactics of that to be more interesting than, every pro has just memorized 10 billion exact perfect locations to throw things to cover areas. And it also adds some counterplay to the players that didn't throw the smokes, because you can also throw a nade and then plan to push right when it clears. And like, it's just, things like that is very interesting. Yeah, Conrad pointed out you can shoot the smoke and it creates a little hole that you can see through briefly. Yeah, so you could have a like rifleman up front, create a little zone for your opper to look through for a second and see if you can pick someone really quick. There's a lot of what I find to be very interesting playmaking mechanics in the new stuff that might frustrate extremely veteran players, but in my opinion will make the game more fun, more active, and potentially
more dynamic.
Potentially more interesting to watch because of how dynamic it would be.
Right.
So I'm interested to see how this will play out over time.
Small correction, everyone was right. I only read the headline.
Both?
The Source engine debuted in October 2004 with Half-Life 2 and Counter-Strike Source.
Yeah, I thought it might have been.
Hey, there you go.
So yeah, I mean, so far it feels good to me and it feels pretty fresh. Now, I didn't look into anything. I just wanted to play it for myself and see how I thought about it.
It's apparently called Subtick, and some people are extremely stoked on how crisp it feels, like you were.
Yeah, it felt
great.
And
the rest of the chat is a lot less stoked, and it's clearly a divisive issue.
So what are the people saying? The people that aren't stoked on it, Subtick is garbage. So what's bad about it?
Yeah, we want to know what's garbage. I have to confess, I haven't played. I have started Baldur's Gate 3, but I haven't played Counter-Strike 2.
I want to talk about that too, but yeah, Conrad says Subtick feels awesome. I'm interested in, because like I can't say that I'm a Counter-Strike player. I got Global Elite, but in Wingman and with Joe carrying me.
Okay.
So I don't know how.
No offense, but like.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that means.
I could probably hit Global Elite with Joe carrying me. I'll just be like, I walk out of spawn, immediately dead. Okay, Joe, kill them.
It would be great when like, because so Wingman is a 2v2 game, so it would be great when Joe would die and I would kill both of them. And he's generally a very respectful person, but you hear
so kind.
You hear the undertone of surprise in his voice, and it's just like, come on, man.
Oh wow, good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So funny.
He's a genuine guy, though. Joe works customer service for Floatplane. He is genuinely the nicest guy. Like I've experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
Like there was one time playing Tarkov, like you guys were knocked or something. I managed to take out a guy and then like pick you guys up, and he was just like,
no, how Tarkov works, but
whatever, something like that. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And he was just like, that was awesome. Like he's just genuinely happy.
Yeah.
But he was also very surprised.
But you can hear it. You can hear it. You know what's going on. So yeah, I got carried there for sure. But like I'm saying is I've played, but we did that like years ago. Like
yeah,
I don't
whatever. It doesn't
play.
Noctur, whatever you're bleeding out. It doesn't matter. The point is they were incapacitated in some way.
We were out of the fight. I knew what he meant. Yeah, it's fine.
Just don't worry about it. We weren't playing PUBG.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Jeez.
But as someone who doesn't play Counter-Strike but has played quite a bit, I have a few hundred hours in
me too. It's amazing how bad I am.
I liked it a lot. The sub-tick or whatever it was felt great to me. I'm sure there's people who actively play that don't like it for whatever reason. I don't know what they are, but it felt great to me. I really, really like the smokes.
Mm-hmm. No one's giving a good reason to not like it so far. And Poisons in Floatplane chat says, I actually like it too, but I think people are mad that it's different and they spent so much time to learn the old one for nothing. I gotta say, that's been one of my biggest problems with Counter-Strike. It's a game that I've always wanted to love, and I, like I said, have put a significant number of hours, and probably not hundreds, but I've put a significant number of hours into, and I used to stream it. I have never managed to really crack it. Like, I think you've played with me a couple of times. I know my way around some of the most iconic maps, and I kind of know where someone might be likely to pop their head out or whatever. But beyond that, I don't find the rote memorization of how to play this situation very interesting personally. I prefer a more dynamic, slower time to kill FPS like a Halo over something like a Counter-Strike. And I do kind of wonder if this is going to change it for me a bit. Maybe I would actually prefer this, because one of the things that drives me most crazy, or has driven me most crazy about Counter-Strike, is I'd be sitting there at my good computer with my good internet connection, lining up someone's head in my crosshair, pulling the trigger, and it's like, nah, dog.
I feel like that person should be dead.
When they're moving this way and you're moving that way, you have to aim like up and to the right of their head, and then you have to draw a 7 or like an upside down 7 with your mouse. And I realize that the recoil thing, Valve is never going to change that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's still
that is just always going to be an element of Counter-Strike, no matter whether people like me who feel like that's stupid, like memorizing a pattern so that you can just put every single bullet down the last hole that you shot, and then everyone else, it's just scattered all over the place. That's actually not how guns work. You don't just like have more strength to hold a gun steady because anyway, the point is that's never going away, and that's always going to be a barrier to entry for people like me who just want to, Quake style line up the crosshair and bullet go like kind of where you were aiming it. But I do feel like you said, eliminating a little bit of that, okay, well, this is exactly the right pixel to stand on type of gameplay could be a good thing. I'm sure that will
still happen to a certain degree at high-level lobbies. And honestly, I don't think it's like a new game or anything. It's still Counter-Strike. The map that I was playing on was Dust 2, just like it's been forever. There's some changes compared to like old school Dust 2, like you can't aim from T-spawn all the way through CT doors anymore because there's that block there, but you can just jump over the thing and then you can see it anyways. I don't know. I don't think it's a fundamentally different game. I just think of the things that they could do to make it interesting and fresh, I really like what they did with smokes. I don't remember what version of Counter-Strike it was that had like riot shields and other like weird stuff.
That was Condition Zero, I think.
That was Condition. Yeah, that sucked. So it doesn't feel like that.
Tell me how you really feel.
That's just dumb.
Was it Go? No way.
Luke hasn't played Dust 2 since that update. I have. I was just saying like it's. I don't know if Linus has.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. People are saying it was 1.6.
1.6 had riot shields?
I don't know. Yeah, it shows you what I know.
I don't know. I know I started playing pre 1.6, so maybe that's the case.
It was amazing watching the two different chats, watching Floatplane and Twitch chat, and their different reactions to me talking about recoil management in Counter-Strike. Floatplane's just like neutral or, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Twitch chat's like, get good. Memorizing shit is not being good. That's memorizing. That's not actually skill. That's memorization.
I've never been
sorry.
a fan of
No.
the recoil pattern thing either.
No, man. It's like, from my point of view, recoil is supposed to be recoil. There's supposed to be an element of randomness to it. People gamed that, right? Like that's to me, fixing that is patching a glitch. It's like in a high level RTS, if there's a particular, path that you can follow with one of your characters that makes it travel faster from your spawn so that you can rush the enemy's spawn like really, really fast with a Zergling or something. And it's by memorizing something, you can go a little bit faster. It's like, yeah, that should just be patched though. Like, I'm sorry, I don't agree.
I think there's some counterplay because being able to employ the expertise of following that pattern while also needing to move and being under the stress of being shot and stuff like that is the argument for
Sure.
the skill.
But then you could make a similar argument for burst fire or for, squatting or going prone or whatever the case may be. Like,
think people would, yeah.
That's the particular skill in Counter-Strike, and it's not one that I find
doesn't
appealing.
interest Linus, which is fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm not a fan of it either. I understand it. But,
I'm not going to sit and practice something that is only applicable to one game. Squatting, crouching, whatever, they're the same thing. It all just depends if there's an opponent under you.
Okay. What I will show is this thing that I like: the most played top 100 games by current players. So Counter-Strike is currently sitting at over 700,000 and peaked today, which isn't the release date, at 1.3 million.
That is freaking wild.
That's huge. That's actually crazy. What was the actual release date? It was like Tuesday or something, wasn't it? CSGO to release date. I sent a screenshot to one of my buddies, September 27th. So where's my calendar? It's Friday. Yesterday, so Wednesday. I sent a screenshot to someone, I remember who, but I was like, guess Counter-Strike released. There's some achievement that you get for like opening the game. And I clicked on Counter-Strike 2, whatever, on my games list, and it shows like all the people that have recently gotten achievements, and it's just like, boom, like everyone on my Steam list had this achievement for opening the game. I was like, wow. Did I just say CSGO 2? Man, that's going to be really annoying to get used to.
That's amazing. By the way, Migor brought up a really good point in Floatplane chat that validates my point. Predictable recoil patterns allow for macro cheating.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's pretty decently easy to detect, but yes. I'm sure it's been done, at least at some point. Yeah.
One of the big points Floatplane chat just brought up is apparently CS2 made something like $40 million in its first 40 minutes. It's amazing how much money you can make with a free game these days, isn't it?
Oh my God. You freaking dummies.
He said it, not me, not me.
It's just so...
It wasn't me.
It's so annoying.
I think you're the dumb one, Linus, for not exploiting these people
What?
and being evil.
Yeah.
Is he? Can we hear him? I don't know if we should hear that. I don't know, Dan. I mean, we've talked about doing like a Linus coin initial coin offering. We've talked about we've talked about doing a mobile game with like gotcha mechanics and stuff like that. Every time we talk about it, we're like, yeah, we could do that. And we could actually make way more money. NFTs were another example. There were people internally who were like, this NFT thing is huge from a business standpoint. We should be doing this. And every time we're like,
feels icky.
no, we need to actually not do.
It's so gross.
I'm actually not convinced that there is any reward for taking the high road at this point. There
Yeah, I
are
know.
major streamers with major contracts, none of whose names I will mention right now, who make their entire living promoting gambling to children.
And everyone's just chill with it.
And everyone's totally cool with it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's weird to me.
Oh, sorry.
It's genuinely weird to me.
We're still not going to change, guys. We're not going to change.
It's just frustrating.
It's just
That's all.
really frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a good time. I'm planning on playing this weekend.
We have the technical capabilities to do a coin or a VPN or like.
Oh yeah.
God, running a VPN is a license to print money as far as I can tell.
Oh my God. What if you had a VPN that you somehow generated NFTs through?
I mean, NFTs are kind of dead at this point, but I get it. I get it. I know what you mean. I just...
Okay, so hold on. There was I'm dragging us back.
Do it.
Oh, interesting. One notable effect is of replacing CSGO rather than launching a new game is that Counter-Strike 2 has inherited all of CSGO's reviews and ratings.
Oh, I talked about that already.
Yeah. But to show it, it says this means there's an overall rating of 88%, despite the fact that 3,450 reviews solely from launch day are 59% positive.
I did read this paragraph.
I know.
He's going somewhere with this.
That being said,
Yes.
the all-time, I think that may have shifted since launch day, is my point.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because the all review, I'm not certain on this, but the all reviews says 88% positive, and the recent review says 80% positive. That is 150,000 reviews within the last 30 days, which is
that is absolutely
crazy.
wild.
I don't know how they figured out. Like, these are the things that came in just on launch day, you know?
Valve knows how to game their own review
range.
system. LMAO. Yeah, love it.
Oh.
Hilarious.
Specific date range.
And KC or Herp J1, yes, we know about Deeper Networks. We actually have some of their hardware in office. I wanted to cover it, and my concern in covering it is that we just don't know enough about exactly how it works today and, more importantly, in the future. And I don't think that any review that we could complete in a reasonable amount of time would shed enough light on any of that. So we ultimately made the decision not to cover it. It's possible what they're doing is, great and makes a ton of sense, but we are not planning to cover it at this time.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to bring us back for a sec. I'm going to show my screen.
Please do.
I was able to open this tool, which actually has a lot of features, which I didn't realize how in-depth the review feature was on Steam. But this right here, September 27th, that's the launch day, I'm pretty sure. Oh, wow. I didn't actually mean to highlight that. I didn't realize you could be like, I want to see all the reviews from just these days, and then it would load them down here. That's pretty cool.
That is so cool.
So I'm going to do that, actually. And if I grab just these, showing 14,000 reviews that match filters above, mixed. 69% of the 14,146 user reviews are positive.
So recent is clearly longer than 3 days.
And it got 30. It's 30 days.
Yeah, there
recent
you go.
Is 30 days. And it seems to have mostly gotten hammered actually the day after release on the 28th.
When people actually got a chance to play it.
Yeah, there was
interesting.
There was 11,500 and then 11,600 positive
or when they started brigading
back to back. I feel like it might be that. The first day, because the first day had 11,500 positive reviews, and then it only had 2,000 negative. But the second day it got hammered, and then the third day it's kind of equal distribution to the second day, just as many negatives as percentage-wise, because there isn't as many positives either.
I do want to say, though, that one criticism of CS2 that I agree with is that it is... You know what? I'm going to say it. It is inexcusable that they simply overwrote CSGO, and I can totally understand why they did it, and it was totally for the money. If people could have continued to play CSGO in exactly the same way that it was left, with the meta the same, with all the items that existed the same, and all the new development happened in CS2, it would be way slower for people to take on the new one, and they wouldn't sell as much crap. And I think that really is what this decision boils down to. It boils down to that they don't want people playing CSGO, and they will go as far as to forcibly rip it out of gamers' hands so that they must play CS2.
I think the thing that's getting me is I'm looking at a lot of these negative reviews, and none of them mean anything. Negative review. This ain't it, Chief. Negative review. I can't recommend this game. I really can't.
Okay, hold on. They can still play CSGO. I believe it's a beta. It's like a beta drop down or whatever, right?
So there's a review from... Oh, I didn't actually know that. That makes sense, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Beat Games does with Beat Saber. You can play old versions that are moddable. Can you guys double check exactly how that happens? But that is, for all intents and purposes, other than a small hardcore community, saying, nope, forget it.
There's a review from today from a person who played for 4 hours total, who said the last time they played was November 12th, 2019. And they say, I really can recommend this game to not be recommended. There's another negative review that just says CS2 bad, CS3 win. There's another negative review that just says horrible game.
So a lot of brigading.
Yes.
Hold on. Alan on Floatplane Chat has a really good point. That could be said for any major update. You're ripping the previous version out of people's hands. And I forget whether this was in relation to CS2 or whether it was just an unrelated article, but I read a really good argument about that recently that did pretty much amount to that. Yeah. Steam, on the one hand, is amazing. It did for gaming what Netflix did for TV shows. Like, it made it so that people are actually willing to pay for games, which helps developers make money, which helps the gaming industry be vibrant and grow. Like, this overall, Steam is a positive thing. It's DRM, but in a way that is mostly palatable. But one of the things that it does that is both good and bad is force your games to be updated all the time. There are a lot of reasons why I might want to play an older version of a game, whether it's that the older version is less buggy, or whether it's that the older version is more buggy. Maybe there's a particular, speed run that I want to attempt or something like that, and that's been patched out of the game or whatever else. This whole games as a service where they just slowly evolve. I mean, okay, Fortnite's a perfect example of this. What is Fortnite? At some point, wasn't it like a single player game?
Yeah, it was like a zombie defense.
And then there's like these in-game...
I think it was a 4-player co-op zombie defense tower game.
And then there's these in-game like concerts and virtual events, and didn't they have one season where they like outright removed building or something like that? I can't remember. I don't even know.
For a period of time.
Yeah, as someone who's not constantly playing it, I don't even know all the permutations of Fortnite. But what it is clearly to me is a way to keep you absolutely hooked all the time so that you don't fall behind the meta. And as someone with kids and who runs a business and who just kind of has other things going on, I mean, I think if I had to guess, I'd say that's a significant part of the perception that Fortnite's for kids, because who other than kids has time to keep up with that stuff? Some people do. Some people are really, really into gaming, and that's totally cool. That's your thing. I happen to be really into some other things, and for me, gaming is something that I jump into. Apparently there's build and no build game modes now.
That's cool. I would prefer the no build. I was actually very interested in Fortnite and had linked it to a bunch of my friends and was following its development before it became a battle royale. And then when it became a battle royale, I was like, oh, I don't care anymore. But I was interested in this, like, hey, there's a co-op like tower building, base building defense game. That sounds cool. I found a review that I think is pretty good. From King Muffin.
Luke Clap. Here we go.
What was the point of releasing this? A large amount of features and modes that were in CSGO are just gone. War games and most of its associated maps are removed. All the local Ts and CTs are missing, even the ones they remade for Dust 2 and Nuke a while back. Danger Zone, the mode they added before they went free to play, is also just gone. The loadout system is odd and a bit pointless. Why would I ever use a PP Bison or a sawed-off over any other SMG or shotgun? It just made these guns you would buy on a whim utterly useless, since they now take a slot where an objectively better gun could have been. The M249 has now become even more redundant. Also, any previously downloaded matches are gone, so now you can no longer watch them. Isn't the game supposed to be a sequel/update to CSGO? Why are there 0 new maps or weapons? I'm sure in time they'll add back some of the missing things I complained about, since the baggage is literally featured in a screenshot on the store page, but for now it's seriously lacking. And that, I think, hits the points better than most of these other comments. It's like when I'm looking at the game personally, I don't really play, so I'm not noticing these things that are missing. The only thing I'm noticing has a cool update is smoke. Other than that, it's just Counter-Strike.
Some people are taking issue with some of the points from that negative review. You can apparently play back your, it says demos, but I think what you mean is like previous matches.
Yeah.
With the beta. I'm like, yeah, but that's
You shouldn't have to do that.
kind of a hassle. Like, I think that a lot of the time our audience might forget or not realize that for an average user, anything beyond the big green button that says play doesn't exist. People won't Google it. They won't even think to Google it. CSGO is just CS2 now. Do I have all my skins? Oh, thank God. Okay, I am playing my game now. And so I can see it. I can see it being frustrating for people, but
Chris K in Floatplane Chat said CS2 overwriting CSGO is to port over CSGO bans. They had to do this because banned accounts items get locked and unsellable and untradeable for good, and the items all get ported over to CS2. If that's what they've officially said, that's a bad excuse. There are definitely ways to solve that.